Hare Krishna. Chapter 2, verse 47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karmaphala heturbhur ma te sangosva karmani. Translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Purport. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. अमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Okay, so the first thing to understand here is the very famous work, mostly misunderstood by people who know this verse. There are four parts to this verse. The first part is that one has the right to perform their prescribed duty, but they don't have the right to the fruits of action. That is the second part. Third part is one should not consider oneself the cause of their activities. And fourth one, we should not be attached to not doing duty. Okay, so the first most important, the foundation for this verse is prescribed duty. So Prabhupada is saying that there are three considerations for type of duty. One is prescribed duties, the second is capricious work, and third is inaction. Prescribed duties, we should understand, Prabhupada is saying here, there are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of nature. So as we know, there are three modes of nature, and then there are four varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. For Purusha and for Stri, there is three dharma. So for Purusha, based on guna karma, one has to fit into one of these varnas, and every varna has its own prescribed duties that has been enjoined in the Shastra, and that one has to live according to that. So example, Brahmana, Patan Patan Yajan Dana Pratigraha. So one has to first identify his varna and then do the duties according to that. Now, unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, because of excessive Varna Sankara, that is mixed Varnas, and also because of really no consideration of right or wrong marriage, because there are three types of marriages: Savarna, Anuloma, and Pratiloma. Savarna is same Varna, Anuloma is higher Varna male marrying lower Varna female, and Pratiloma is lower Varna male marrying a higher Varna female. Now Pratiloma is not allowed, but because there is no Garbhadana Samskara, which means specifically in Kali Yuga, Shastra says Kalo Shudra Sambhava. So it means that we might be born in any house, but generally our nature will be that of Shudra. So, and most software people are Shudras because technology is considered actually work of Maidanva. Right, he's an Asura. So this is not, this doesn't fall into any of the other Varnas. It is Shudra. We are working for Mlechas, Yavanas and being paid, and we are spoiling our the intelligence, Brahminical intelligence that we have in India. Now, so somebody who's working for software is actually Shudra, but actually this is not even Shudra, because for Shudras actually there is no salary paid. There's no, like, the owner or the master takes care of all the expenses, concerns of the person held serving him, right? But here, and of course, and in Shastra it's also said Shudra should not be given money, because then it will get indulged in wine and women. So which is what is happening, right? People are indulged in meat eating, intoxication, so many other horrible things. So the whole point is that as Shudras, we don't have the right masters also. So in some sense, this whole system is topsy-turvy in Kali Yuga, right? So if at all we are able to find our Varna, then we should try and work according to that Varna. Possibly the only Varna which, or maybe, yeah, two Varnas which might seem possible in Kali Yuga are Brahmana and Vaishya, because Kshatriya will also be very difficult. It has so many implications because of the democracy, and so there's no monarchy, right? If there is monarchy, then Kshatriya would have been good for people, but that's also not possible. Shudra you don't have the right master, so Shudra is very abominable. So only possibly Brahmana and Vaishya are the two Varnas which can be put in place in Kali Yuga and through Varnashrama system. So Brahmana is Patan Patan in Yajanyajan Dana Pratigraha, and Vaishya is Krishi Goraksha Vanijya. So if our nature fits into one of these two, then we can potentially move into a more saner prescribed duty even in Kali Yuga. Right? Because otherwise most of it is capricious work. Because whatever is not enjoined, whatever we just discussed, if it doesn't belong to fit into this framework, then it is capricious work, right? Whimsical work, right? So because it's not authorized in the Shastra, and it results in, and it's basically vikarma, right? Or paradharma, right? Somebody else's dharma we are doing. Both of it is sinful, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that you should do your own duty, don't do somebody else's duty, even if it is free from fault. Right, so capricious work should be avoided. Inaction absolutely should be avoided. So we should technically try and find our varna and then do the prescribed duties. Now also here, first thing is we have the right to perform our prescribed duties. See, once we are assuming that we get to know what our prescribed duty is, then we have the right to perform the prescribed duty. Now prescribed duties also Prabhupada is saying it's into three divisions. Routine work. Now routine work in the sense like I said, like if it is a Brahmana, Patan Patan Yajan Yajan Dana Pratigraha, it's routine work. Now there might be emergency work. Apad Dharma. Emergency work means some things that happen in emergency, right? Where, for example, in Shastra it says in emergency one can even eat animal meat, right? So there are emergency that is also enjoined in the Shastra in terms of what kind of emergency, what can be done, etc. Then even in this there are desired activities. Now amongst all the activities that are enjoined, we might have some activities which we like more than the others. It's called desired activities, right? But all of these are actually in terms of spiritual injunctions. So these are all considered karma, and capricious work is considered vikarma, right? Now we should do karma, but we are not entitled. Now entitled means we don't have the right for the fruits on the right. So which means that we do our duty, whatever results come, they come. That's it. We cannot say, oh, I'm supposed to get this, I didn't get this. No, whatever comes, because that is ordained as per our karma phala. Right? Prabhupada also says, now don't consider yourself the cause of your activities, because if you consider yourself cause, then you become the hetu or the reason, and then you have to own up the karma phala. Then if you don't consider yourself as the cause, and you're not attached to the work, then even whatever work you do, it doesn't bind you. You can even be a murderer, it won't bind you, right? So we should not consider, and this is also very common, right? If something good result happens, we suddenly immediately think, okay, it's because of me. So we should not consider ourselves the result of our activities. Again, there are 5 reasons for any work to happen, and we as Atma is just one of the reasons, right? So we are not the whole and sole reason for the result of any activity, right? And fourth one might say, okay, since see, you are saying don't bother about the result, don't think you're the cause, then why should I work? I'm not going to do my duty at all. So Krishna is saying never be attached to not doing your duty. Now, one example here that I was reflecting on recently is, suppose say we are not well and we are taking some medicine. Now we have in some sense, right to take medicine, because the body is supposed to be used to serve Krishna. So we are supposed to take care of it. So we'll take the medicine. But whether it will cure or not, we don't know. So we're not entitled to the fruits, because that depends on our karma phala. Right? Of course, we won't consider ourselves as the cause of our activities, but we might become attached to not doing it. So, oh, okay, I'm not getting the required result, so let me stop taking medicine. So that also we can't do. We have to just do as a matter of duty. Right? So this is basically, overall what consciousness we should work. First, know our prescribed duty. Do the prescribed duty which is acceptable karma, which is enjoined in the Shastra. Do such duty. Don't be attached to the result, right? Either attachment, non-attachment, both are sinful, which is non-attachment is in the last part of the verse, attachment is in the second part of the verse. Third part, don't consider yourself cause of bondage, cause of action, because that results in bondage, right? So fight as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Hare Krishna.